Welcome to Parlay TV.
Plenty of things look easy at first. Skydiving, lion taming. From the comfort of your armchair, all sorts of risks look easy as
Cristiano Ronaldo, Diogo Jota, and Bruno Fernandes literally
blew Russia off the park in a clinical display of attacking football.
Wow.
Sorry, what did you say, Kobe?
Wow, bro.
Let's break it down.
I am Pat Mayo, and I'm here to give you the best pick at the top of the board, the best bet, if you will.
So I'm going to go with just under 25 for Middleton here.
And breathe. That was a frenetic and absorbing Christmas season in English football. But now we enter the new year, and as tradition demands, first weekend is the FA Cup's fourth round domain, where fairy tales are made occasionally. Might we see some giant killing? Perhaps. Meanwhile, across Europe, it's the leagues recovering from their slumber, and they return to action as well. But let's start with some FA Cup action, shall we? And this one could be the greatest upset in the history of the Cup. If Chesterfield, that's non-league Chesterfield, beat Chelsea. Okay, bear with me, all right? If you're brave and are still inspired by Wrexham beating Arsenal in 1992, the one that's still arguably the greatest upset ever, then sure, throw some money down in Chesterfield at plus 2,900. But if you don't want to, guarantee a loss, both teams to score at plus 150 is actually tempting, given that the Blues have injury and COVID concerns. Anyway, will blood tons and tons of youth in this one, while Chesterfield, who are already in their fourth match of this year's Cup, are just bossing non-league football and will likely get back in the league and have Kabungo Shimunga. You knew that, right? Dominating with 18 in his last 20 matches, and he's piquing the interest of some pretty big championship teams right now. So goals will be scored in what should still be a routine Chelsea win. Now, in a week where we saw Chelsea play Tottenham, perhaps Boreham Wood against AFC Wimbledon doesn't provide quite the panache. But let me say the FA Cup fourth round is always amazing, with so many wonderful stories emerging, like non-league Boreham Wood, who almost went under due to the pandemic, only to be saved by their chairman, Danny Hunter, who remortgaged his house. They find their feet and sit very much in promotion to the Football League, and that's the reality right now. They're playing great football, while AFC Wimbledon, 2 divisions higher, have won just 6 of 21 and are mired in a relegation fight. Now listen, the gap between the Premier League to the lower leagues is enormous, obviously, but the lower down you go, the gap shrinks, which is why Boreham Wood, I just love saying that, Boreham Wood at plus 300 is too good to ignore. Book that tattoo appointment already. Now, looking way off in the distance and some outrights on who will actually win the Cup this year, now is the time to lay some money, with Man City sitting at a very likable plus 324, Chelsea at plus 665, and Liverpool at plus 674. Now, with the league all but done, it stands to reason that the Blues and Reds will start to put real emphasis and focus on this match right now and on this tournament, especially with Europe also in the foreseeable future. Trophies are trophies, right? And Liverpool, especially, despite enjoying an incredible current era, still have just 2 major trophies to its name of late. Now, they are the Champions League and Premier League, mind you, but still, you know what I'm saying. Moving on now, let's head to the continent, shall we? And, well, Ligue 1 has a Lyon against PSG encounter to salivate over. Long gone are the days of Lyon dominance, mind you. If you remember, that was just before PSG were acquired by a state and began disrupting the global order of all things football. So these days, it's 13th place Lyon and first place by a million miles PSG. All right, it's actually 13th. 13 points, sorry, but still, you get the idea. That being said, complacency can get to this PSG side. 2 draws against Lens and Lorient in December raised some eyebrows, and there's a ton of noise once again surrounding manager Mauricio Pochettino and his future, and also the future of Kylian Mbappe, who reportedly is once again in the crosshairs of Real Madrid. Not that it bothered him midweek with a cup hat-trick in 18 minutes. Still, a draw at plus 325 might be too good to ignore. All right, finally over in Germany and back from the winter break, our very own Alphonso Davies is the latest Bayern Munich player to fall victim to COVID-19. But against Borussia Mönchengladbach, that shouldn't make a difference. This is going to be one-sided. After all, the champs have scored 17 in its last 5 games, while Mönchengladbach have conceded 18 in its last 5. But last time out, Borussia stunned Bayern 5-0 in the DFB Pokal. So revenge and goals galore are on the way, with Bayern to score in both halves at -138. Great value. And why not parlay a money line and Bayern to score in both halves at -105? Deutschmarks in the bank. Yeah, I know they use euros, but Deutschmarks just sounds so much better, right? Right, Albert? What do you say, pal?
I'm with you, James. I love Bayern Munich. I don't know if I'm going to take them straight up, but I would like Bayern Munich. How about this? Plus both teams to score at +120.
Yeah, why not? I mean, hey, listen, it's early in the next season, right? The break comes, and often you see these odd results in the first weekend back. And listen, Bayern are dominant, we know that, but perhaps at the back with Fonzie and company, out, there might be some holes potentially. Bayern are going to win, but hey, why not? Why not? Some goals apiece.
Yeah, lots of COVID news as well for Bayern Munich. No Manuel Neuer, which is huge. And for some reason, Mönchengladbach is a bit of a bogey team for Bayern Munich. Winning 5-0, I think, at the beginning of the season was the Pokal Cup, and then I think another weird result. So a bit strange, a lot of injuries, but I do expect Bayern to win. What about Bournemouth, James? Is that considered a cup set over Wimbledon?
Okay, it would have been 20 years ago, right? When Wimbledon was Wimbledon, but of course they went under, moved to Milton Keynes, MK Dons were born. Out of those flames came AFC Wimbledon, this new club created by the fans. And they've been kind of yo-yoing ever since, never really made the big push. So listen, when anytime a non-league team beats a league team, I think it is a cup set. You're right, but not a huge one. I mean, listen, I just want to see Bournemouth advance so I can say Bournemouth again next time around. It's maybe the best name in professional sports.
I love the FA Cup, but I feel like it's losing that magic. I could be wrong. Yeah. I mean, we don't see as many upsets as we've seen in the past, obviously. I mean, you mentioned, Nottingham Forest way back when against Arsenal. That doesn't really happen anymore.
You know what? See, I grew up watching the FA Cup when it was the big event, right? You watch the BBC or ITV the morning of the game. It's like the Super Bowl, right? There'd be, features, interviews. They'd follow the team bus through London towards Wembley. It was just amazing. I remember getting so excited. Plus, my team, Liverpool, generally won it every year, which really helped as well. But it was incredible. But you're right. Since then, it's not quite the same. I think the Champions League, as it's grown and become so important, it's taken away from the domestic cup competitions. It really has. That being said, I think in recent years, we've seen some great games, and it's got a bit of prestige back. It didn't help back in 2000 when United, they pulled out after winning the treble the year before because Alex Ferguson said, I'm not going to play in the World Club Cup and the FA Cup and the League Cup and the Premier League and the Champions League, right? So that kind of really, really tarnished it as well. But I still think there's some love there. Maybe it's on its ascendancy once again, but yeah, in modern sports, we know what's big, right? It's the domestic leagues, it's the European Cup. But like I said, there's always value and money to be won in the FA Cup, so don't ignore it.
Oh, I love that. The +300 for Bournemouth, I'm going to tail that. But for those who don't have the cojones to bet that, Bournemouth double chance, winner draw -110. You can get that almost close to even money for a team at home. They've been pretty good, unbeaten in 12 home games at Meadowwood. I just learned that today. They play at Meadowwood, James.
I've just learned it as well. Thanks.
Let's touch on quickly PSG Lyon. I want to talk about Messi. When that was first announced, I was kind of like, I don't know. I don't think this is a good idea. And I don't want to say it hasn't worked out, but nothing's really come from it yet.
It's been really disappointing, hasn't it, so far? I know he's been out injured a lot. He's began to score a few goals now. He's been fighting COVID recently as well. But, on paper, of course, Neymar, Mbappe, and Messi is just, it's just salivating. It's incredible, but it hasn't worked out so far. They're 3 enormous egos. They all want the ball. So we shouldn't be that surprised. More and more you hear, though, and you read, it does seem that it's becoming Messi's team, though. And he's very much the man, the big man on campus there, and that's maybe upsetting some other players. So there is a bit of disharmony in that room, which is part of the reason why I think Mauricio Pochettino is probably best served if he just leaves this summer and goes to another club, because that's tough to manage. That being said, listen, they're 13 points clear in France. They're going to roll to Ligue 1 if they can win a Champions League, despite this dysfunction. then I guess it's worthwhile. But I was always disappointed, Albert, when Messi went to PSG, given he could have gone anywhere. He chose the money in the end. And I'm a huge Messi guy. I've always been Messi over Ronaldo, but I respect Ronaldo's choice to go to United far more than Messi's choice to go to PSG. I'd love to see him selfishly in the Premier League, of course, or find a way to stay at Barcelona. It didn't happen. He made his choice. And it leaves an unsavory taste in my mouth. And I think for me at this moment, his reputation's slightly tarnished.
Yeah, I think it took a hit. And I want to talk about Mauricio Pochettino. I kind of feel for him. He must have, I would say, one of the worst jobs. And it sounds like that's crazy to say, having Mbappe, Neymar, and Messi on your team. But to try and manage those players, and now the expectation is it's Champions League or you're gone.
Yeah, exactly. At this point, maybe he wants to just walk anyway. Maybe there's no pressure on him because he's got options out there that the Man United job you think is waiting for him if he wants it. Maybe it's waiting for him regardless. And he's made, he's spoken to them. There's agreements in place. But, listen, PSG, they were bought by a state, as I mentioned there. They're arguably the richest club in world football. I know Newcastle are aboard now, but it's all crazy, isn't it? It's nuts. But they have to win the Champions League, right? This is sports washing at its very best. You're making a state look better, so you start winning championships. You sell your brands through that. They have to win, and if they don't win it this year, then I'm sure he is gone. But listen, there's been some good managers there. Most recently, Thomas Tuchel, right? Didn't work out. Couldn't handle the structure above him. Couldn't handle the egos, and he's doing pretty well at Chelsea right now. So if Poch leaves, it's another mistake by PSG.
Yeah, Poch's former team. Lesson learned against Chelsea in the League Cup just yesterday. Yeah. What did you make of that performance? If I'm Conte, I'm rethinking about what I just got myself into, because I don't even think that he knows until now how much work is actually needed at that Tottenham side.
Well, yeah, listen, Chelsea's better than Spurs, right? It's that simple. They won 2-0. Yeah. They're better. But I think overall you've seen some improvements, certainly. Consider that Spurs was the team that ran the least in the league when Conte arrived, and now the most recent games they've run the most in the league. So it's having a real effect there. There's some really good players there, right? Harry Kane's going to start scoring. He is starting scoring again goals. Whether he stays there, that's the issue. Can he convince him to stay there? Lucas Moura's looked really good as well. I still have faith in Spurs for a real good fourth place battle. But yeah, it's a big job. And can they break into that top three in the next couple of seasons? It remains to be seen, doesn't it? I'd be quite surprised. He's going to demand money is spent this offseason, maybe even starting in January. Yeah. If that doesn't happen, watch out. Hold on to your seats, because Conte, when he's not happy, generally upsets those above him and he generally leaves, in a big sulk. And listen, Spurs are no strangers to that. So it's going to be a fascinating team to watch the next couple of seasons.
Yeah, if it's going to happen somewhere, it'd probably happen at Tottenham, a team that's broken many a manager. But one more thing before I let you go, Chelsea plus under 4.5 goals is what I'm looking at in their matchup against Chesterfield, plus 180, just because a lot of injuries, a lot of COVID going on over there. No Conte, Thiago Silva's out, Mendy's at AFCON. So it's going to be a young team, not the same Chelsea team. And even with their first team, James, Chelsea isn't a team that blows other teams away.
No, but we've got to realize it's Chesterfield, right? They are non-league. And I know they've looked really good this season, and they might, like I said, perhaps score a goal in this one. Chelsea should roll. And they're kids, they're hungry, right? This is a chance where you really make a name for yourself. You stake your claim for a squad place. So you're going to see that, I think. You see blowouts in this round as well. You do see the occasional replay forced. It doesn't happen that often at this level. Perhaps we think about the Forests and the Wrexhams of the world, but it's very rare that you see that. So there's many teams between Chesterfield and Chelsea. What is it, like 90, 80, 90, around there somewhere, right? Yeah. And there's a big gulf. It's a huge gulf. So I would say over. It's going to be a blowout, maybe a 5-1. I'll be happy with a 5-1. I think we'd look good at a 5-1.
Yeah, both teams to score plus 150. You've talked me back down to earth with my pick. I'm thinking they're going to go in there and just kind of cruise to a 2-0 win. But nonetheless, James Sharman, thank you so much. This has been Fast Money Football. Make sure you follow us at The Parlay on all of our social media channels. Thanks, guys.